Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Today we are going to be making the Parker on the Porch quilted center zip bag. You can see it here. Here's the 6x10 size and this is the 5x7 size. We are going to be making the 5x7 size today. You can see here's the front. It has pretty quilting and it has quilting on the back too. This takes 2 hoopings, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, then I'm just going to show you around a little bit around the bag, and then I'm going to show you what kind of materials I'm using, and then we will get started, okay? So this is the 6x10 size. It's a great size for makeup. I have some makeup brushes in here, some different makeup. It's a good travel size bag. It's really cute. You get 10 sizes when you buy this design over at Parker on the Porch. It comes with 10 sizes. Okay, so I like putting like makeup stuff in here, and then this other one I put markers in. I like to put markers in these things. I'm a big marker person, so you can see all these markers. And it fits a lot more than what I put in here, just some chapstick. This would be great to use makeup and then put inside of your purse, or also a holder for markers in your bags, also super cool. Okay, so you can see it's fully lined. You don't see any of the quilting lines. The seams are enclosed. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I all made here and what materials I used. I'm just going to put these out here. Okay, so this main fabric right here is Riley Blake. I use that too. This is Art Gallery right here. Art Gallery fabric. It's super cute. Really like it. Okay, the inside fabric is Riley Blake. So it's right here, this hot pink. Let me show you. I use this line of fabric a lot as all my liners. I have a bunch of the different colors. So this is Riley Blake fabric, and this is Cotton Shade Raspberry. This is the raspberry color. I bought this fabric over at CRAFTY Midwestern Mommy's website. She is the owner, does the live videos in Parker on the Porch every other Tuesday. I do the YouTube videos. She does the live in-group videos on the opposite Tuesday of mine, and that's her sewing group. She has a whole website where she sells fabric and a whole bunch of other things, so go check her out. I have her link below in the video, but that's where I bought this liner fabric right here. Okay, so if you're wanting some of that. This little tab right here is vinyl, this hot pink vinyl, and then this yellow vinyl right here. This is mypunkbroidery.com, and it's the Stardust series. I use it for all my bags. It's really good fabric to use. It works well with the satin stitches. It's thin enough that it's not so hard to turn. So this one is the hot pink that I used here on the tab, and then this one is the yellow. If you're searching this over at mypunkbroidery.com, make sure when you look for Stardust, you put a space in between the word. It's not one word, it's 2 words, okay? So I use those. This blue vinyl right here, I am guessing, but I am pretty sure I bought this over at Bob and Jen's Odds and Ends. They have a website. This they call drape vinyl. It's a little thicker. It's still pliable. It's really pliable and nice, but it is thicker than the Stardust vinyl over here. And then they labeled this color. There's lots of colors over there. They labeled this color 626. So if you're looking for this color, okay? So that is all the fabric and vinyls on here. I'm going to mention a couple other things. This cute little charm right here is Parker on the Porch as well. This is the origami heart. So if you're wanting this heart, it comes with a snap tab and a charm. So I have the charms here. Super cute design. So you can search that over there. As far as these monogram letters, also Parker on the Porch design. This one is the farmhouse monogram charm that I used for the M and the P. Super cute, okay? So I think I talked about all the designs. I talked about all the fabrics. This little pole right here, I get these on Amazon, and they're called like a zipper pull cord extender. I'll also have a link below, but that's what I'll call it, is like a zipper pull cord extender. Okay, and when you're putting these on the number 3 zipper, I use like part of my thread. I take, let me get one of these things. I take thread and I put thread through this and loop it, and then I take the thread to put it in, because if you just push this through, this hole is pretty small. It's hard to push this through. So if you thread on either side and you put the thread through and then pull, this goes through. Okay, that's how you're going to want to attach it. I don't show that later in the video, but I just thought I'd tell you. Okay, so we are ready to get started. I let you know what everything is here. Go ahead. We're going to make the 5x7 right here. I'm using cutaway on both the back of the bag and the front. You can use tearaway, but you have to tear the tearaway out between all of these different lines. So I suggest using cutaway for both. I use cutaway for both. So go ahead and hoop one sheet of cutaway on a 5x7 hoop, and I will meet you over at my machine and we'll get started on this. Okay, I have the first hooping file open. I'm making the 5x7 size. This is what it looks like. And I'm running the baby lock meridian here. I have my 5x7 hoop because that's what size I'm making. I have one sheet of cutaway, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch the placement stitch directly on to my cutaway, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what your placement stitch looks like right here. And remember, we are making the back of the bag first. You always need to make the back of the bag in these quilted designs. So I'm going to go ahead and use this fabric right here. This is Art Gallery fabric. I'm going to show you right here. This is what we're using on this bag. Okay. So you need a big enough piece to get around your placement stitches. On the quilted bags, on the back of the bag, you need some excess over here. So you can see mine is a lot bigger right here, because later you're going to get the quilting on here, and later you're going to have to place this onto the front of the bag. So leave some excess, give yourself some extra around this placement stitch. Now the way to prep this fabric, this is woven fabric right here. You have a couple choices. You have lots of choices, but this is, if you want the padded quilted look, this is the best too. I'm using fusible fleece right here, and let me show you what it looks like. Sorry, let me get it. I buy it on the Bolt. It's 987F Pellin. It says fusible fleece. This is what I'm using. It's just thicker. I actually use this on almost all my bags. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You have a rough side and a smooth side. Okay, so you would take your fabric, you would iron your fabric, and then you get all the wrinkles and stuff out. This is the right side. You would flip it to the wrong side of your fabric. You would take the rough side of the fusible fleece, and you'd cut it to size, but you'd cut it to size. The rough side's on the wrong side. Then I flip it over and I iron it, and your fusible fleece will adhere to your woven fabric, making it thicker. Okay, so I already did that here. Okay, so you can prep your fabric like this for this bag, or you can come over here and you can use batting. This is just batting that's not adhesive or anything. So you can do this, or you can put a piece of batting here, just big enough to go over all your placements. Make sure your fabric is still ironed and get all the wrinkles out, and then you would just place your fabric over it like this. You wouldn't put the fusible fleece on top of the batting. It's one or the other. Okay, so those are your choices. If you don't want the puffy look, you can also just use woven fabric with just interfacing on it. You could use medium weight if you just don't want the thicker part of it. The other thing you could do is, if you like cotton lycra, you could make this bag with cotton lycra. I would probably still use the fusible fleece on the cotton lycra, but if you don't want it that thick, you can use the SF101 on cotton lycra. It stops the stretch, so you can use it on bags. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and my fabric is prepped for this back. I'm going to bring you back over to the machine and show you what we do next. Okay, we're back on the machine. We're going to be doing the quilting next. Go ahead and change your thread to the color that you want to see the quilting to be, and then go ahead and run it, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and did all those quilting lines right there. We are done with the back of the bag. This is ready to go for when we need it to put it on the front. So you can take it off of your hoop. I use cutaway. If you use tearaway, you can tear it out of all these spots. I don't like to do that on this, so I just use cutaway, okay? So this is ready to go. We're going to set it aside. We're going to re-hoop with another sheet of cutaway. This time you do want to use cutaway for sure because it stays inside your bag. If you, you can use tearaway, it will work, but it makes a crinkling sound in your bag and it stays in your bag. So I would use cutaway. You can use other things, but cutaway is what I'm going to use, okay? So we are ready to go, and I will bring you back over the machine, and we're going to go ahead and stitch the placement. Okay, we're back on my machine, and I have the first hooping loaded for the quilted center zip bag. We're going to stitch the very first step directly on to our stabilizer. I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, that's what your placement looks like right there. We're going to be placing our zipper between these three lines. The center line is where you can line up the underneath part of your zipper, this line down here. I normally just line between these two and it ends up putting it right there. So this is a number 3 zipper. It's already put together. It's ready to go. So you're going to place your zipper either this way with the zipper pull at the top, or you can place it with the zipper pull at the bottom, depending whichever way you want to do it. I'm going to just turn. And you really, I just get between these two lines. You see how you can see lines on either side right there. I just center it completely between these two lines, okay? And then I tape at the top and the bottom to keep it there. The next step is going to go ahead and tack your zipper to your stabilizer, tacking it down. So you don't want this to move. So I'm just going to make sure I get it where I want it. Okay. I'll show you in a second up close what it looks like. Okay. That is how I have it right there. Now I'm going to go back over the machine and I'm going to stitch the next step. It's going to go ahead and stitch one side down, jumping your zipper teeth and then stitching the other side down. I'm going to go do that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and tacked the zipper down. Okay. Now we're going to go and turn the hoop this direction, and we're going to cut out the cutaway from the zipper so it's easier to do. This is kind of like a pro tip. You can do it at the end of the bag, but then you have your fabric on either side and it's easier to cut your liner when the liner's sitting there. If you have tearaway, then you don't have to do this part, but you see these lines, the very, very center is where the zipper teeth are. You're going to cut on the inside of the other two lines on either side. You're going to cut this whole section out, okay? And I'm just going to use an applique scissors right here. Be careful not to like cut your zipper because your zipper is right underneath this, okay? So I just use this to get a little hole and then I cut across, and then I usually just slide to the edge, okay? And then I cut across right there. And then now you have something to hold, so it's a little easier. I'm not cutting the stitches on either of the side. It lets you get this whole center out. Now you can see, oops, that your zipper is right there. So when we open the zipper, there's going to be a hole right here and it's going to give you a place to turn. So this is when I cut it out. You can do it at the end of the bag if you don't like to do it right here. But like I said, it's a little harder later because you have fabric on either side of here and it's easier to cut your fabric. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and place our liner fabric. You need 2 pieces of liner fabric like this. They need to be big enough to get past here, the middle of your zipper over, because these are going to fold over for your liners. And then you also, we're not using this a second, but you need a liner piece that goes over all of your stitch lines, okay? So I have 3 pieces of woven fabric ironed. There's no interfacing on liners, so I just have them ironed and That's how they're prepped, okay? We're gonna place this side first. You see I put like a first here on the back. I put a first here. We're working on this side of the bag first, okay? So we're gonna place the liner. You're gonna go ahead and take the right sides, place it down so the wrong side is facing up. And this is the flipper side, the flipper type of bag. So you're gonna go ahead and bring it down. Remember, this is the first side, so we're gonna bring it down over these stitch lines right here, okay? So we have the right side facing onto your stabilizer. You're pulling it straight down about a 1/4 inch over that last stitch line right there that goes across like this, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and tape it. So I'm taping here and taping here. Now you can check when it stitches that next line, it's going to go ahead and tack that down, and then in the end you're going to pull it over like this. So that's how you're going to see the liner. When you test pull it over, make sure you get past these placement stitches down here. You need a piece of fabric big enough when it stitches that it can pass all these placement stitches, okay? So that's how you're gonna place that fabric, okay? Now I'm gonna just put one more little piece of tape up here because it's gonna stay out of the way while we do all the quilting on the front, okay? So we have that piece placed, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and do this as well for this side. Now we're gonna take our front fabric, the outside of our bag. I'm using this fabric still, okay? So you're gonna need 2 pieces that are big enough that get passed from the zipper over as well. Okay, so then now you can see the zipper pulls up here. If you want this is a little different than most bags. There's a designated top and bottom. You could have where the zipper pull is be the top of your bag, or the bottom be where the bottom of the bag is. I'm going to put like a little loop down here that's going to be really cute. So I kind of designate this where the zipper pull is as the top. So depending on how you want your fabric placed, make sure you have it the right way. So like if I want this big flower up here, I'd place it like this. You see? If I don't, you could also do the fabric this direction. My fabric kind of goes both directions because you can see that this looks like it should be going up, but it also goes this way over here. There's not like here's the flowers facing the correct way, because these flowers go both directions, if that makes sense. So, but if you have a very specific hearts face or words face this way and you want the zipper pull to be the top, then make sure that the hearts are facing you if your pull's at the top to make your fabric facing the right way that you want it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to do it the other way, okay, like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, we're doing this side first, okay, and I prepped my top fabric with fusible fleece again. If you're doing the fusible fleece method, then make sure the fabric's prepped with fusible fleece. I showed you how to do that for the back. If you are using batting, then I will show you how to place that as well. Right now, you wouldn't have this interfaced or fusible fleece, you would just have a piece of woven fabric, okay? So I'll show you both ways. I'm going to move this one out of the way because we're doing this one, okay? So you're going to take the right side of your fabric, you're going to flip it over like this, and I'm going to put it right along this zipper side over here, okay, just like this, and you're going to go like about a 1/4 inch over, okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put tape. Make sure you're getting past, moving this up a little, make sure you're getting past these placements up in the top and the bottom. You got to go watch how you're placing your fabric. Okay, so now when it stitches the next line, then this will ultimately flip over like this, and that's what your top of your bag is going to look like right there on that side, okay? So I'm going to go over to the machine and I will show you what we do next. Okay, I'm back on my machine. A couple things. You can see the next one's just going to do a straight line. It's going to tack the top of your bag to your zipper pull to the stabilizer to your liner, okay? It's basically going to stitch them all together, okay? So I'm on my machine. One thing I like to check when I'm on here, remember we have liners sitting here. We want to make sure that none of that moves. So I lift this up and I look underneath to make sure that my liner's still in the right place and it's not going to move, because you just shoved this onto your machine. It could have moved. That tape might have not held it. So always double check that before you stitch. Otherwise, you're going to have to tear out those stitches and start that part over, okay? So I'm going to go ahead ahead and stitch it. Now, if you are using batting and not fusible fleece here, you would just have a piece of woven right here and it wouldn't be interfaced. So you can, if your fabric is sitting there, you can just put your batting down like this over that same piece of fabric, and it's going to stitch it in, and then it will fold over. If you don't want the fold over with batting, like, because it's going to be double batting, because it's going to flip and fold over, so you're going to have 2 layers of it, you can wait from this step. Just go ahead and stitch this next step with just your regular woven, and I'll show you in the next step how you place it if you don't want it folded over. Okay, go ahead and stitch step 3. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. Now, if you moved your fabric over the right way, this would be a little smaller. I made mine a little further over. So you can trim this to 1/4 inch right now is when I would do that. The other thing is you can see that it's stitched on your back here. If you have too much hangover here too, you can trim that up if you want as well. Okay, this stays up for the next step. You're not going to flip this over. So if you just want to trim, you can trim this. If you put it exactly 1/4 inch or however you like it, just go ahead and keep it. It's fine. Keep in mind, if you leave it like this, this is going to flip over and it's just going to have extra fabric on this side of your bag. Okay, so you're not going to see it. You wouldn't see this either. It's just going to be a little more bulky because I also have fusible fleece. So when this flips over, if you leave that, then this is just a little thicker is all. So if you want that a little closer, go ahead and do that. And I will come back and show you what mine looks like. Okay, you can see that I trimmed mine back a little bit so it's not so bulky. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and flip our front down like this, making it smooth. Like that. The next step's going to stitch all the way around like this, tacking the front of your bag down. You're leaving your liner up, so you can see that my liner's still up back here. Okay, now if you are doing batting, but you didn't want to have it thick, you can cut it to size, but you can put your batting right here next to that. And then when you flip your woven, you have batting in here, but it's not double, it's not folding, so it's double right here at the corner. So you can do it that way right there, if that makes sense, if you waited to put your batting right there. I have fusible fleece, so I'm not using this, okay? So I just wanted to show you that's how you do that, okay? So go ahead and flip your front fabric. You can tape it or hold it down. It's going to go ahead and stitch all the way down here, just tacking it down. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, our next step is going to do the batting or the quilting lines all the way across here. So pick the color thread that you would like to see and go ahead and stitch it. I'll come back and show you mine. Okay, that's what it looks like right there. It went ahead and did the pretty quilting, and it went ahead and did a top stitch. Now that it did all those stitches, we're going to go ahead and fold down our liner. Okay, so you just flip your hoop over. Take the tape off, fold your liner down nice and smooth. You need to make sure that it's smooth in the right way, and then you're going to tape this down, put it back on your machine, make sure it didn't move because this is the underneath, make sure it's still taped down right, and then we're going to stitch the next step, which is just going to go down and over, tacking your liner down. Okay? Okay, that's what we look like right there. There's the front. There's the liner. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing we did on this side, but now for the other side. So if it was confusing, and hopefully I wasn't confusing, but if I was, let me try again. Okay, so we're going to do this side now. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. We're going to take our liner piece that has no interface on it. Okay, and this time we're going to place it on this side of the line right here. Okay, and you can always test that you're placing it right before you stitch it. Maybe you want like a 1/4 inch over this line. I did like way too much last time and then trimmed it, but it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so you're going to place it over like this. Remember, the right side of your fabric is down right now. See, this is the right side of my fabric. It's down. Okay, now that we have it over that line, then when it stitches, you're going to pull it down like this. Okay, so you can see that it's going to work and it's placed right. Okay, so once we have the liner where it needs to be, then go ahead. I'm taping this up so it just kind of keeps it out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the top We're going to place our top fabric, again, the same as what I explained last time with the interfacing, whether you're doing fusible fleece or the batting. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and take this fabric and kind of line it up a little bit how I want it, because I'm kind of matching the flowers. It doesn't ever match exactly because you have the fold over, so it moves a little bit, but I'm going to do it as close as I can. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. And then you're going to flip it right sides down, and then you're going to pull it over this zipper line over here. Okay, I'm going to just go like right there. I'm just pulling it right to the edge of that zipper. And then I'm going to tape up here and down here. And then you can kind of always test run it. You can just like fold it like this, because it's ultimately going to fold. And it's going to kind of look like that. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my machine. I'm going to put this on the machine, making sure once it's on, I'm going to look underneath to make sure that this liner did not move, because it's just being held with tape. And then the next step is going to go ahead and stitch that line, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, stitch line, this is what the top looks like. This is what the underneath looks like. Okay. So we're good to go. We're going to leave the liner back because we're going to do the quilting first. So now we're going to go ahead and pull this over. Okay. You can go ahead and tape it or hold it. It's going to go ahead and stitch the line all the way around here, tacking this side of the front of your bag down. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Remember, when you put it back on your hoop, make sure this stays up and out of the way. This is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and tacked this front down. Our liner is still up. You're going to go ahead and put this back on your hoop. The next step is going to go ahead and do all the quilting lines again to match like over here. And then I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is underneath. So we're going to go ahead and pull this liner down now. The fabric. Okay, pulling it down, making sure it gets over the edge, and then retaping it. And I'm just smoothing it down. Okay, now we're going to bring it back over to the machine, and it's going to do that same stitch going around, tacking this liner to the front of your bag. Okay, I'm going to go stitch that, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what we look like right here. It went ahead and did all that. So now we're going to put the front of our bag, our back of our bag on the front of our bag. So we always open our zipper. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open our zipper up. I'm going to go ahead and place this vinyl right now. I'm just going to fold it. This is from my PUNKBROIDERY. I'm just going to fold it like this. Okay, and then the right sides are going to go on the inside. The loop is going to go on the inside. I'm going to place it over here on the side. Okay, and depending how big you want, there's the stitch line right here, and that's going to determine how long of the loop it is, whether if you pull it in or pull it out. Okay. And then you can kind of see about how big it is. I always place it a little bigger than the width of the zipper. But there's no, it's just whatever you like. Okay, so I'm going to place it right there, and I'm going to tape it down. Now remember, if your foot of your machine is really low, this is bulky, and you don't want it to hit it. It's going to hit it from the side, so you might want to move your needle up so it is a little higher, so it doesn't run across this and get stuck. Okay, if you're placing this. If you're not placing this, you're probably fine, but make sure your zipper is open. Okay, and then place this if you want, or place whatever else you want, any hardware. This is when you would place your hardware. Okay, and then you're going to take the back of your bag. Okay, and then remember, I determined on mine that this is the top of my bag, so you want to place the fabric. So if this is the top and you have fabric where it matters, which direction you want it, Just gonna put this, I'm using this as the top. You could have had this as the top. It didn't matter on this bag, okay? But I use this as the top because the zipper pull is gonna be up here. Okay, depending on which way you want your fabric, I'm gonna place it. So if this was hearts and you want the hearts to face you, if the hearts were facing me this way, you want them, the hearts were facing me this way, and you want the hearts to face you the same way on the back of the bag, you would do hearts facing you here and you would flip it like this. So then when the bag's done, both the back and the front would have the hearts facing you. So they're not backwards, okay? If that makes sense. So you're gonna go ahead and take this. You have placement stitches all the way around here. You also have them all the way around here. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna do this side and this side first. I'm going to flip it up like this, and I'm going to make sure these lines are on the outside of this evenly, okay? See how I'm matching this up on either side, making sure I'm past, okay? So I have that. Now I need to make sure that I'm evenly from the top and the bottom. I am that direction, so let me see where this falls. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it and do it this direction. You can see that I have way more over here than over here, so I'm going to just scoot it this way. And I'm pretty much gonna, just looking at the edge, okay, I'm like that, okay? So now I should be as even as I can place it by my eye, that this is in the center, okay? So now when you're like that, then you go ahead and take it over to your machine, and we're gonna stitch the next step, and it's basically gonna do a full square all the way around here, tacking this down, okay? And then remember, we have our zipper open, so we'll be able to turn through our zipper later, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go over there and do that. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. You can see, sorry, that's my iron going off. You can see that this is the outside. So this I placed pretty center, which is pretty good. This one, I probably should have moved that way more. There was more on this side than this side. But you can see that the inside, this far inner side stitch is on the inside of where the quilting was. So it's gonna line up perfectly fine and it's gonna look great. So you do have some leeway on all four sides when you're placing it, okay? So we are good to go there. Now we're going to place our very last liner. So go ahead and flip your bag to the underneath. You're going to take the right side of your fabric facing down, okay? And then just make sure you're over all of your stitch lines. Tape it down. And then we're going to go to machine. We're going to stitch the very last stitch. It's going to go all the way around and then just leaving a hole for us to turn through, okay? Make sure you tape good, and make sure when you put this on your hoop that your liner is completely down and it didn't fold up or anything, okay? Okay, this is what it looks like right here. We're gonna go ahead and take it off our hoop because we're done stitching now. Okay, I cut from this side because I can see where the hole is. You can see on this side it stitches all the way around, but it's easier to see where the hole is on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut at an angle. I leave a little bit of fabric down here to sandwich the fabric to close the hole, okay? So just cut around. Okay, when you get to that end, you cut the other direction. You can cut across here. Now you take either side of your liner right here, and I hold it up. Just fold this and hold it up out of the way, and then I flip over because I can see the stitch lines over here. Here you can't really see the stitch lines. Okay, we don't need all this other excess fabric right here, so we're going to cut it off. Now when I'm looking at this, I cut straight. Don't cut at an angle because you'll end up cutting into your liner over here. So make sure you're cutting straight across here when you cut, okay? Then I'm gonna throw this stuff away. Okay, so now we have this hole right here. We're gonna turn through this hole. And I'm just going to the other side, and I just poke the corners through with my fingers and get it out initially. And then you can use whatever you use to get your corners out all the way. Okay, so I'm just gonna come over here and I'm gonna gently push. You don't wanna use the sharp side and push really hard because you can go straight through your woven fabric here. Okay, I'm just getting the corners out. Okay, now you can see that the zipper is open because we cut out the cutaway. If you have tearaway, you'll have tearaway sitting right here. You can pull like this and then just tear it out. If you have cutaway here still at this point, this is where you would cut it out. You basically would just put your little scissors in there and cut all the way around like we did before, but now you have fabric on either side. So it does make it a little more challenging. That's why we show you to do it earlier. I'm just gonna cut off any little things, okay? So now you have this fabric down here to close your hole, okay? I'm gonna use peel and stick tape right here, peel and stick fabric fuse. You can also use glue. If you use glue, I always kind of just show you different things. If you use glue, I would use this glue. You can sew it, you can ladder stitch it, you can do however you close your bags. I'm going to use this. This is basically just double-sided sticky tape. So you have stitch lines right here. I'm going to put it right over that top stitch line. Okay, just pushing down as I go. When you get to the end, I just tear it. And then I'm rubbing it down to make sure it adheres. So when you pull the other side of the tape back, it's adhered to this fabric. Okay, then once you have that tape on, then I start sandwiching it how I want it. I fold this side of the fabric in, and I fold this side in. And I get it lined up exactly how I would want it to be closed. Okay, once you have it there, then I go ahead and open this up a little bit and I get the edge of this tape. You can see the sticky stuff is still there. And then I just start sandwiching it together a little at a time, pushing the tape together so both sides adhere, okay? Once you get to the edge, I just push it all the way down. If a little bit pulls out when you pull this edge like your fabric, then I just take this and I stick it back in. But it didn't do it to me on this one. Okay. Now you can see that it's completely closed. There's no opening. It's smooth. There's no sticky stuff. So it works really great. Okay, now we're going to turn through our zipper hole. This is why you have to have the zipper open. If you didn't open your zipper, you wouldn't be able to flip your bag again. It would be completely closed right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it again, pushing my corners out. Okay, now I'm gonna get my corners all really nice with my, you can use like a chopstick, or this is to like a turning system, but okay, let me zipper my zipper. Okay, and then I'm gonna just smooth it out, and then I would iron it. Get a nice iron on it. But here you go. This is the 5x7. It looks super cute. Okay, open the zipper. You can put some cute little lipstick and lip glosses. The other thing that I like to do is I like to actually put markers and pens and stuff like this. So it has lots of purposes. It could be a cute little, you make the bigger one. There's lots of sizes. You get, I believe, let me look. I think you get 10 sizes. Let me check. Yeah, you get 10 sizes. This is the 5x7 size right here, which I think this size is perfect for markers. I think it's perfect for lip glosses and stuff like that, like just a little carrier that you put in your purse. If you want a big travel one, then I would make the bigger one. Or if you want to put like big makeup brushes in here, then I would make a bigger size as well. But this is what it looks like. You can see our cute little flap thing. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do, go ahead and post them in here in this video. Or you also can go into the Parker on the Porch Facebook group. And there's lots of people there that have made the bags and can answer your questions very quickly as well. If you like this tutorial, I hope it helped you. If you had any questions on how to make this, I hope I answered them. And give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and then go ahead and do the little bell to subscribe, and whenever another tutorial comes out, it will notify you. Thank you so much. See you in the next tutorial.